listeners. My name is Ajish and welcome to my YouTube channel, Amazing Ajish. As part of my school project focusing on explorers, I am going to talk about Ibn Battuta. Ibn Battuta, the greatest explorers in the history. Ibn Battuta was born in 1304 in Morocco. He was known as one of the greatest medieval traveler and the author of one of the most famous travel books, the Rihla, which means travels. His great work describes his extensive travels covering some 75,000 miles in trips to almost all of the Middle Eastern countries and Asia. Early life. Ibn Battuta was from a family that produced a number of Muslim judges. He received the traditional education to his native town of Tangier. In 1325, at the age of 21, he started his travels by undertaking the trips to Mecca. At first, his purpose was to fulfill the religious duty and to broaden his education by studying under famous scholars in Egypt, Syria, and Western Arabia. Those studies qualified him to serve as a judge in those countries and made him thereafter a respected guest at many courts. Travels. Ibn Battuta discovered during his pilgrimage that he loved to travel. He liked seeing new places, experiencing different cultures, and meeting new people. He decided to continue traveling. Over the next 28 or so years, Ibn Battuta would travel the world. He first went up into Iraq and Persia, visiting parts of the Silk Road and cities such as Baghdad, Tabriz, and Mosul. He then traveled along the east coast of Africa, spending time in Somalia and Tanzania. After seeing much of the African coast, he returned to Mecca. Ibn Battuta next headed north, visiting the land of Anatolia, now known as Turkey and the Crimean Peninsula. He visited the city of Constantinople and then he began to head east to India. Once in India, he went to work for the Sultan of Delhi as a judge. He left there after a few years and continued his travels to China. In 1345, he arrived in China. While in China, Ibn Battuta visited cities such as Beijing, Hangzhou, and Guangzhou. He traveled on the Grand Canal, visited the Great Wall of China, and met with the Mongol Khan who ruled China. After spending over a year in China, Ibn Battuta decided to head home to Morocco. He had almost reached home when the messenger informed him that his parents had died while he was away. Rather than return home, he continued on his travels. He went to Al-Andalus and then headed back south into the heart of Africa to visit Mali and the famous African city of Timbuktu. Later life and death. In 1354, Ibn Battuta finally returned to Morocco. He told a story of his adventures to a scholar who wrote it all down in a book called the Rihla, known as Travels. He then remained in Morocco and worked as a judge until he died around the year 1369. Interesting facts about Ibn Battuta. His travels covered 44 modern-day countries, mostly in the Middle East and Southeast Asia. He often served as a judge of Islamic law at different places along his travels. He married several times during his journeys and even had a few kids. During one trip, he was chased down and robbed by thieves. He was able to escape with nothing but his pants and caught up to the rest of his group later. He survived mostly on the gifts and hospitality of fellow travelers and rulers of the countries he visited. I hope you enjoyed my audio blog about Ibn Battuta. Thank you for listening.